Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Innovating People with Vijay Advani. Well, in our last video, we saw how to format the worksheets in a professional manner. We also saw how to apply borders and text to a table. Well, if you have not seen that video, I'm mentioning the link in the description and just you can have a look at that video and can gain knowledge as to how to format a worksheet in a professional manner. Now in this video, we are going to deal about how to fix formula references. Well, this is quite important in today's context because otherwise we'll be applying the formulas manually. But if we know how to apply references to the formula, then it will definitely help us sort out the issues very quickly. But prior to that, let's have a look at what is called as fast scrolling. You might be knowing this, but for those who don't know this will be a good step. We will be seeing this practically, but before that, let's have a look at the slide. So what is fast scrolling? It is nothing, it's quite simple, but it helps you to move from one cell to another. Now let's see, if a cursor is present over here in cell B4, and if you want to reach in cell I4, you need to do nothing, just you need to press the control key plus the right arrow key. So that will help you to move right from here to here. In the same manner, if you want to move down, you just need to put control key plus the lower key. So that will help you to reach the bottom of the series. So that's about fast scrolling. So that's the example. And now we will move to the fixing references. Now this is what an important topic is. When we move to fixing references, what does it really mean? So here is a slide which reflects as to what is being done. If you look at the formula bar over here, and if you look at column G to column I, there are three kinds of values present over here. In column G, we have the volume. In column H, we have the cost per unit. And in column I, we have the price per unit. Now, what is in column K? In column K, we have the multiplication of volume and cost per unit. If you can see, it is mentioned equal to G4 into H4. That means the amount present in column G4, 420, is multiplied by the amount present in column H4, that is 6. And that's what you get it, 2528.4. Now, if you are thinking how you are getting it 0.4 in the last, so let me tell you that these amounts are present as round amounts, but herein they can go up to 2 decimal places. Well, we will look into this in detail. Don't get confused. Okay, and let's move ahead. So let's see. If I want to copy this formula ahead, if I want to copy the formula which was present in column K to column L, what will be the result? The result is multiplication of cost per unit into price per unit. In the previous slide, we saw the result was volume into cost per unit. And if we are copying this formula ahead, what we are getting is cost per unit into price per unit. This means that volume is not fixed. As soon as we are scrolling ahead or dragging ahead the formula or copying the formula in the next cell, the values also go on to the values also move to the next cell. That means it is not taking the volume as a fixed constraint. It is taking cost per unit into price per unit. So herein fixing the reference comes into picture. Now, what do you mean by fixing the reference? It is nothing, but what we add is to whatever we want to fix, we add a dollar sign just before that. So the value which was present in column G4, that was 420. If we want that, even if we drag the formula or copy the formula to the next cell, the value of volume should remain constant. It should not change. This should not move to cost per unit. It should be volume into price per unit. In that case, we just apply a dollar sign before G. And we just drag the formula. So we will see this practically. And this can also be applied to rows. This was for column, the value present in column G4. And if we drag it to the next column, what the value is coming. This was an example of that. But let's see it practically, because you might find it a bit confusing that what's really happening. But it's quite simple. Only thing is that we need to focus as to what we are doing. We want to keep this volume amount as fixed, and that's why we are applying a dollar sign to it. That's the only solution to this. So let's go and see how this happens practically. Okay, so here is our sheet. Now, let me do it practically. Let me apply a formula to it. Equal to volume into cost per unit. We are getting the value 2528.40. Let's see how the formula comes up. It is volume into cost per unit. And if we want to just copy this formula in the next cell, this is the value which we get. And how this is coming? Is this coming by volume into cost per unit? No, it is coming cost per unit by price per unit. So as soon as we copied the formula automatically took the value present in the next cell. It then took the value present in the volume cell. So how to overcome this? In such a case, what we will do, we will just fix this value of volume. Now what we want the result as volume into price per unit. We don't want the result as cost per unit into price per unit. So to fix the value of volume, we will apply a dollar sign just before G. And we'll mark enter. Now this is what the result was, volume into cost per unit. Let's copy this forward. Now see, the value is 3542 and the result is volume into price per unit. That means we have fixed the value of volume. This is how what we can fix the referencing value. Now this was an example for column. Let us try to see what the value we get if we drag this formula below. Okay, what was this formula about? Volume into cost per unit. If I drag this below, then these are the values I am getting. Let's see how these values are coming up. These are getting volume into cost per unit, volume into cost per unit. So still the values of volumes into cost per unit are coming. Now here we can again note it down that what we have done is the value in column G4 has been fixed, but it has been fixed for the column G4. Now when we are trying to drag it down, we are trying to drag the formula to the different rows, not to different columns. So if we are trying to drag it or copy the formula to different rows, in that case, we need to remove the dollar sign before the column and we'll put the dollar sign just before 4. Oh, it got stuck. Okay, no worries. Let's do it again. So in this case, we will just remove the dollar sign before G and we'll put the dollar sign before 4. And we'll mark enter. So let's see how does it works now. Let's drag it down or copy it down to different rows. And you can see now the result is different. So let's see from where this value is deriving. You can see the volume mentioned in column G4 is now fixed. Whereas when we drag the formula, the values present in different rows for cost per unit is being taken, but at the same time, the value which is present in column G4 is fixed. So whether it applies to all the cells, let's see. Yes, yes, let's see over here in below. Yeah, so that's the catch. That's how we do it. That's how we fix the references to a cell. To summarize, if we want to fix the references to the different column, to the same column, and drag it in the column wise, so what you need to do, you need to apply it just before G, the dollar sign before G. And if you want to drag it below, that is to different rows, you need to apply the dollar sign before row number, that is row number 4. And that's how the fixing of references takes place. Now, in the beginning, we talked also about fast scrolling. Let's also see that if we are present over here in column B4, B6, and we want to come at the end. So I will press Control key plus right arrow key. Just see, I've reached to directly to column I6. I didn't do, there was no need to go slowly like this. Just press Control key plus right arrow key. If you want to go back, Control key plus left arrow. If you want to go down, Control key plus down arrow key. Go to up, Control key plus up arrow key. So this was about quick referencing. Thank you very much for watching the lecture. Have a great day.